The Warriors went 1-2 this past week. They lose versus Miami. Then they go to Detroit, get the win, a 3-point win. Then they lose at Indiana on Friday. They're currently playing at Toronto, and I can get you a score update in just a hot second. But last I checked, it was a pretty close game.
Go ahead, Vince. I got it.
Yeah, go ahead and go. So that being said, upcoming, they're currently 19 wins, 19 losses, 11th in the West. They're currently up 3 points, 69.
Yes, 69-66.
5 minutes left in the third quarter, so that game is well underway. And
can we just say they're cooked, right? Like you've never seen a worse 500 team in your life.
Dude,
I'm not impressed.
I'm glad you brought this up because out of all the fucking years to just stink, you know what, Kuminga, we're gonna shut it down. Like Curry, we're shutting it down. You're not gonna get the number one pick, but maybe you'd move up as far as you can. Kuminga, we're gonna trade you. We got to get the number one pick. We need Cooper Flag.
Yeah,
like it's so crazy, man. Like they just look uninspiring. Like it's just an uninspiring team right now. And it's crazy because they looked good the first 12, 13 games. We were like, oh crap, like this team's pretty deep. We know the roster is going to get shortened a little bit, and like we learned quick why everybody was complaining about Buddy Hield, huh?
Well, I mean,
there's other problems, but
I think Vince was with me when we were saying that this is a 10 team, like a 10th seed team, right? They're definitely a play-in team, but
we all had them as a play-in tournament.
But I mean, they look so bad that they should be vying for a top draft pick. I've never seen a 500 team look so terrible consistently, night in, night out.
They look, I mean, it's
rough,
bad.
Man.
It's looking bad.
It doesn't look good. Yeah. Dauber down is some.
I mean, what do you do though? I mean, Tyler, you were saying, you were texting us like this team is going to be dog shit as long as they have Curry.
It's true. I mean, it's that double-edged sword, right? This team was amazing because they had Curry's contract, and now Curry's contract is the reason why this team is terrible. You know what I mean? So it's this weird. I guess my thought process is that you're basically, if you're a true Warriors fan and you've been through the darkest of the darks, it feels like you're rearing the corner to come back to that era. But I promise you, in 2 years, when Draymond leaves, when Curry leaves, when Steve Kerr leaves, you may have some dark days, but the promise that you can finally open up the book and start getting players, is a good thing. But the issue you're going to run into is, and we don't know, it's 2 years down the road, is Kuminga going to be the reason why free agents want to come to Golden State and pay premium taxes to live in California? Is Brandon Pozinski the reason? Is Trace Jackson Davis the reason? And if you ask me now, I say no. And I think you're going to probably see some more dark days beyond the 2 years of once they retire. You're probably going to get some good draft picks, but who knows what that's going to be like in 2 years, right? So am I the Debbie Downer of this situation? Sure, but I think it's more of a realistic situation. I think you're not going to see positivity until Curry leaves, unless they decide to trade the farm. And Draymond just came out today on his little podcast or wherever he was interviewing and was saying that it's absolutely absurd that nobody in the front office wants to sell the farm to try and take one last run at this. We're going to have to figure it out. And if we can't, we can't. It is what it is.
I just don't know. I don't know what superstar is out there that puts Draymond and Curry with another superstar that puts them in title contention. Like, because if you're giving up Kuminga, you're giving up draft picks, you're giving up all these people, that means you're going to have to backfill the roster with like dudes off the street because you're not going to be able to sign anybody. So what dude is out there that puts you out there, because with Draymond's contract, with Curry's contract, like those two contracts put you up against the salary, take up 60% of your salary cap, from jump. So then Wiggins and Looney and all these other guys who have multi-year contracts, like what do you do? And the NBA, out of all the leagues, is the most difficult to, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of trades that can be done. But as far as like being a capped league, there's the first and second apron. Like it's so hard for them to make any moves, where they're in a catch-22. They're damned if they do and damned if they don't. Mm-hmm. And no matter what they do, if it doesn't work out, it was, you should have did the other thing. Like no matter what.
It definitely,
if they traded Curry right now to whoever and they got the number 1 overall pick, and then you get Cooper Flag and he broke both his legs, you should have never traded Curry. Like it's never and then people are going to be upset that you traded Curry. Remember people booed, booed because of Monte Ellis was traded, because we got Bogut. He was booed, the Joe Lacob was booed.
And that was on the jersey retirement night for Mullen too.
Yes, and then Rick Barry had to come out and say, "Come on, people."
I think you're closer to a rebuild than you are a superstar signing with Golden State.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Like, so to me, it's seriously like you got one path. Number one is you will suffer and just watch Curry and Draymond and all your favorite Justice League members just age out and suffer, and not be competitive and chase records and pad stats. And that's path one. Or path two is you liquidate everything. You start the rebuilding. Probably, let's say if we do it now, what does Kuminga get you? What do all of these guys get you? Because I don't know if Kuminga's the dude that you can build around and be good. I think you're more than Kuminga and a player away. I think you are many players away. I think you're looking at the nuclear option of what OKC did. You just have to tear it down to the studs. But I don't want to say fast, but now OKC has decisions to make because their roster is overflowing. They're going to have to make decisions on.
They're overflowing, guys. And they have the next picks for first round picks for the next 25 years. But also too, the way of the NBA is, right? Curry changed the NBA. Now the NBA is, do you have an athletic big that can be the Swiss Army knife? Look at Alfred Şengün for the Rockets.
Yep.
Look at Jarrett Allen for Cleveland. Look at the Wemby or Chet Holmgren. You can go with Denver. You know what I mean? Do you have a versatile bid that can do it all?
Jaren Jackson Jr., man.
Yeah.
Fuck. Or even the gentleman in Chicago, Vucevic.
He's a little bit older. I think he's kind of getting towards the end, which is why I thought he would be a good trade piece for the Warriors, and he could still be. But I don't think it's going to make moves as far as going up the rankings as being past the 10th or 8th or 9th. You know what I mean? So, but that's the way of the NBA, and I don't see, without getting a top pick, you're not really going to compete in today's modern NBA. That's what it's shifted to. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're looking at, in a couple years, once Curry and Draymond and all those guys are gone, you're looking at a, 19, 20 win team. And hopefully that only lasts 2 or 3 years and you're good again because you drafted really well, shout out Sharks. Vince, your dad is in the chat, is remembering the dark days and would rather see Steph here and go out in a single jersey. I think there's a lot of people who would be okay with that. But then there's a fan base that does have season tickets and probably do not want to pay San Francisco premium prices to watch aging Steph Curry at those season ticket prices. So I get both sides. I'm kind of in the camp of your pop, where it's like I kind of remember the 90s and the 2000s when
I think some of the fans are a little too spoiled right now. They don't remember true pain.
Right. So I'm kind of like, man, I never thought, out of all the franchises that were in the Bay Area, like, did you think the Warriors were going to be the one that went on this run? Like, I think we all thought
a decade ago. No, hell no.
It would have been the 49ers, or it would have been a baseball team, because a baseball team, you could get a 3-year period, a 4-year period, and get hot and go on a roll.
Hell, a decade ago, let's talk like, the end of 2014, the Giants had just won their 3-5. And the Niners, they just fired Jim Harbaugh at that point. But the 3 years before that, they were in the NFC title game or the Super Bowl. So they were just there. So at the time, it makes more sense to think that, that
it would have been the Niners. It would have been a baseball team.
The Sharks were in the
Sharks
playoffs.
Were still very, very
competitive.
Good. Would the Sharks break through at some point? And the answer ended up
when they broke through, nobody thought it was going to be the Warriors. So I think out of all the franchises, that caught the Bay Area by the most surprise and united the Bay the most in a weird way, because they're everybody's team. That's like the one team that we have together.
Exactly. Not everybody is into hockey, and then you had 2 football teams and 2 baseball teams, so there was split allegiances there. I mean, like, I remember seeing, like, when I lived in San Diego, like some of my roommates from down there, like on Facebook, there was some of their, like some people would, like, they'd be bitching about, the Bay Area being spoiled with championships, and then I'd chirp in and be like, I'm an A's fan, so no, we're not spoiled with championships. Through all sports, just basketball right now. So
for sure,
simmer down,
for sure.
I
don't know, guys. I know we beat the Warriors bush, but I don't know what you can do to improve in the immediate, because even if you look at the Jimmy Butler's not putting you over the top. I don't think there's anybody that you can get that puts you over the top or puts you really in contention with, like, OKC or even now Memphis. There's not that Memphis is so much better than you or Minnesota. It's just they're way more athletic, and the Warriors are not going to be able to compete with any team that is that much more athletic than them. It's just they're hella mid. Like Curry said it. They're mid.
It's true.
Yeah.